Hi everyone, let's take a look at the following grade 12 example. Determine algebraically where the cubic polynomial function has zeros at 2, 3, and -5 and passes through the point 4, 36, has a value of 120. Now there are two major parts. Part 1 is everything I just read to you up to the point 436. And the second part, which I'll use a different color for your reference, is recognizing that there's a y value of 120 and you want to solve for the corresponding x values. Let's start with the first part. If you think about a function f of x and it's a cubic function, then there's a leading coefficient a multiplied by three different factors. So again, three factors because it's a cubic polynomial. Since the zeros are at 2, 3, and -5, that means in the brackets, you can write down x minus 2, x minus 3, and x plus 5. And again, x plus 5 because you're really writing x minus -5, which becomes x plus 5. Now, in order to find the leading coefficient, you need to know a point, xy. And of course, if you don't want to write down f of x, you want to rewrite this in terms of y, that's perfectly fine. And xy is going to be 436. So x becomes 4, y becomes 36, and your goal is to solve for a. So I go back, I plug in all the other numbers. Again, feel free to grab a calculator. I'm going to promote mental math. 36 equals to 8 times 4 minus 2 is 2, 4 minus 3 is 1, 4 plus 5 is going to be 9. So 36 equals to 2 times 9, which is 18a, or you can say a is going to be 36 divided by 18, which is 2. So again, in the first part, we can say, therefore, we have this function, f of x, or we can say y, which is 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 3 times x plus 5. Now, for your reference, I'm using a different color. The second part says it has a y value of 120. So we know y is going to be 120. We need to solve for x. And I can tell you right now there are going to be three answers because it's x to the power 3. So the first step is you can go back and divide both sides by 2. So for your reference, if you take 120 divided by 2, that's going to be 60. And now you can expand this. So 60 equals to, again, if you look at the right-hand side, x minus 2 times x minus 3, that's going to be x squared minus 5x plus 6. If you look at the second bracket, or the last bracket, it's going to be x plus 5. Again, you can expand this to 6 different terms. X squared times x is x cubed. Likewise, it's going to be minus 5x squared plus 6x. Then I can take this trinomial, multiply by 5. That's going to be 5x squared minus 25x plus 30. And again, if you collect like terms, I can take negative 5x and positive 5x squared. So negative 5x squared and positive 5x squared, which becomes 0. I can bring everything to one side. So if you look at the right-hand side of x to the power 3, I can cross that out to stay organized. 6 minus 25 is negative 19. So minus 19x. And 30 minus 60 is going to be negative 30. And of course, you can let this equal to a function. Let's call this g of x. Now, to solve for this, you're going to apply factor theorem. So I'm going to erase some of the solutions from the first part. I sincerely hope you're copying it down. Please take notes, write them out. As you're watching this video, it's going to help you make progress. So if I continue here, let's go back to here. So now what I can do is I can apply factor theorem, and of course, you can look at all the factors of negative 30. So for example, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, and so on. And if you try 1, it's going to give you 1 minus 19 minus 30, which will not give you 0, and that's okay. You try g of negative 1, again, that's going to give you negative 1 plus 19 minus 30, which does not give you 0, and that's okay. You keep going. You try g of 2, that's going to give you 2 to the power 3 minus 19 times 2 minus 30. That's 8 minus 38 minus 30. It doesn't give you 0. However, I can already tell when you try negative 2, look what happens. This is going to be negative 2 cubed minus 19 times negative 2 minus 30. And if you really solve this, and again, I'm promoting a little bit of mental math, that's negative 8 plus 38 minus 30, that's exactly 0. So this means we found x plus 2 to be a factor, and we're looking for the other two factors. When you go back to dividing, let me go back, erase this to create a bit of space. But I think we're going to find the answers momentarily. So if I continue here, you can divide and you can look at the coefficients, 1, negative 19, and negative 30. Be very mindful, right? You have to add the empty parameter. Let me erase a little bit more just to create more space. So it's 1, negative 19, and 30, or negative 30, but don't forget the empty parameter, because technically this is x cubed plus 0x squared. That's in between, right? In between x cubed and negative 19x. So if you go back, you put negative 2 here, you're going to start with copying, multiplying, adding, multiplying, adding, multiplying. Every time you do this right, the remainder is always going to be 0. That's exactly how you know you're doing it right. There's a positive confirmation. Then you go back and you write down the quotient. All of a sudden, we're 90% done. This goes back to a grade 10 problem because the quotient is going to be x squared minus 2x minus 15. This is also known as simple factoring. So this is going to be x times x, which is x squared. 3 and 5 are the factors of 15. To make negative 2, we think about 3 minus 5. So this means the entire question becomes x plus 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 5. When you solve for x, it's going to be negative 2, negative 3, and positive 5. So those are the three answers. Those are the x values that has a value of 120. If you find this video meaningful, it's adding value to your math life, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. I hope this makes sense.